Have you ever wondered what happens when a woman genuinely wants your attention? Not when she is simply being polite, not when she is just being friendly, and not when she is deliberately trying to impress you. I'm talking about those moments when her feelings begin to influence her behavior, before she has even consciously admitted them to herself. Because attraction doesn't always begin with a confession. Sometimes it begins with a glance that lasts just a little too long, a conversation she somehow keeps finding reasons to continue, a sudden curiosity about your life, a change in the way she behaves when you walk into the room, and sometimes it's something even more subtle. She starts remembering tiny details you mentioned weeks ago. She notices changes in your mood. She finds excuses to be around you. Or she starts testing the emotional connection between you without even realizing that's what she's doing. And here's the interesting part. A woman can genuinely feel attraction while still trying to understand what she feels. That's why reading one isolated behavior can be misleading. Anyone can smile, anyone can make eye contact, anyone can send a message. But when several behaviors begin appearing together, repeatedly, and specifically around you, that's when the pattern becomes much more interesting. So today, we're going through 7 things a woman may naturally do when she truly wants you, often without consciously planning to reveal it. And stay until number 7, because the final sign isn't about how much attention she gives you, it's about what she starts doing with her emotional world when you become important to her. Let's begin. Sign number 1. She finds reasons to keep the connection going. One of the first things you may notice is surprisingly simple. She keeps the interaction alive. Think about it. You finish a conversation, but somehow another topic appears. You answer her question, and she asks another one. The conversation should naturally end, but instead she adds something that gives you another reason to respond. Now, this doesn't automatically mean attraction. Some people are naturally social. Some people simply enjoy conversation. But when a woman consistently creates opportunities to continue interacting specifically with you, it can be worth noticing. Maybe she sends you something she knows you'll find interesting. Maybe she asks for your opinion on something she could easily decide herself. Maybe she remembers something you mentioned and brings it up later. Or maybe she simply seems reluctant to let the conversation end. Why? Because attention is often one of the earliest ways people explore connection. Before someone says, "I like you," they may simply want more access to your time, more conversation, more opportunities to understand you, and more opportunities to see how you respond to them. This is why you shouldn't focus on one message or one conversation. Look for consistency. If she repeatedly finds natural, respectful reasons to interact with you, that can suggest that your presence has become psychologically rewarding to her. And there's an important distinction here. Someone who wants attention may want a reaction. Someone who is genuinely interested often wants connection. She doesn't just want you to notice her, she wants to know you. That difference matters. Hashtag sign number 2. She remembers the details you didn't expect her to remember. Here's something people often underestimate: memory. When someone becomes emotionally significant, ordinary details can suddenly become meaningful. You might casually mention your favorite food, a project you're working on, a place you want to visit, something stressful that happened at work, a story about your childhood. You may completely forget that you ever mentioned it, but weeks later, she remembers, and she brings it up naturally. "You said you liked that place, right? How did that thing you were worried about go? Didn't you tell me your favorite movie was..." Those moments can be surprisingly powerful because they show that your words didn't simply pass through the conversation, they stayed with her. Again, this is not automatic proof of romantic attraction. Some people naturally have excellent memories, but when someone consistently remembers the little things about you, it can indicate that they are paying closer attention than they do with everyone else. And that's where attraction can become psychologically interesting, because attraction often increases attention. When someone matters to us, we notice more: their mood, their expressions, their preferences, their stories, even small changes in their behavior. So if you notice that she remembers details you barely remember telling her, don't immediately jump to conclusions. Instead, ask yourself, does she pay this level of attention to everyone or specifically to me? That comparison tells you much more than the behavior alone. Sign number 3, her body language becomes more open around you. Now we get into one of the most fascinating areas of attraction, body language. The body can sometimes communicate what the person hasn't consciously decided to say, but body language needs to be interpreted carefully. There is no single magical gesture that proves attraction. Instead, look for clusters of behaviors. For example, she may naturally face her body toward you during conversations. She may maintain comfortable eye contact. Her facial expressions may become more animated when you're around. She may mirror some of your gestures without realizing it. She may adjust her hair or clothing when she becomes aware of your presence. She may smile more naturally around you, or she may appear slightly more energetic or self-conscious when you enter the room. None of these behaviors individually proves anything, but together, in the right context, they can indicate heightened awareness. And that's the key phrase, heightened awareness. When someone becomes attracted to another person, they often become more conscious of that person's presence. Suddenly, you're not just another person in the room. Your arrival changes the emotional atmosphere for them. Maybe she becomes more talkative. Maybe she becomes quieter. Maybe she starts paying more attention to how she looks. Maybe she suddenly becomes playful. The specific behavior varies from person to person. That's why you shouldn't memorize a checklist and assume every woman behaves the same way. Instead, watch for changes from her normal behavior. That is far more revealing. Sign number 4, she starts teasing you or playfully challenging you. Now let's talk about something that can completely change the energy between two people: playfulness. When attraction develops, conversations sometimes become less formal. There may be teasing, inside jokes, playful disagreements, light challenges, a little more sarcasm, a little more curiosity. A woman who feels comfortable and interested may start creating a unique conversational dynamic with you. She might tease you about something harmless. She might challenge your opinion. She might jokingly call you out. Or she might create little moments that only the two of you understand. Why does this happen? Because playful interaction creates emotional energy. It makes the conversation feel different from ordinary conversation. But there is an important boundary. Healthy flirting should feel mutual. It should not involve humiliation, pressure, manipulation, or disrespect. If the interaction is uncomfortable, it isn't a sign you should push harder. The goal is not to decode someone so you can manipulate them. The goal is to understand whether there is a genuine connection developing. And sometimes the strongest clue isn't what she says. It's how the interaction feels when both people are participating. She teases you, you tease her back, she laughs, the conversation continues, and suddenly an ordinary interaction has become something memorable. That emotional spark can be meaningful. Sign number 5. She becomes curious about your relationship status and your personal life. Here's where things can become much more obvious. Curiosity. When a woman becomes genuinely interested in you, she may start asking questions that go beyond surface-level conversation. Are you seeing someone? What kind of woman do you usually like? What are you looking for in a relationship? What do you do on weekends? Who do you spend your time with? What kind of person are you attracted to? Now again, context matters. Some people are naturally curious. Some questions may simply come up during normal conversation. But if she repeatedly shows interest in your romantic life, your availability, and the kind of relationship you want, that may be more meaningful. Because she may be trying to understand something very simple. Is there space for me in his life? And notice something else. She may not ask directly. Instead, she may approach the subject indirectly. She might mention relationships in conversation. She might ask whether you're single. She might bring up another woman and observe your reaction. She may ask what you think makes someone attractive. These conversations can function as a low-risk way of exploring compatibility. But once again, don't assume. Curiosity is not commitment. Interest is not consent. And attraction is not a promise of a relationship. The healthiest approach is always to let genuine communication develop naturally. Sign number 6. She creates small opportunities to be around you. This is one of the most interesting signs because it often happens quietly. She starts appearing in your orbit. Maybe she joins the same group conversation. Maybe she chooses the seat closer to you. Maybe she asks if you're going somewhere. Maybe she remembers an event you mentioned and shows interest in it. Maybe she finds a reason to ask for your help. Or maybe she simply makes herself available when she knows you'll be around. Again, one occurrence means almost nothing, but repeated patterns can tell a different story. People naturally move toward experiences and people they enjoy. If she consistently chooses opportunities to spend time around you, there may be something emotionally rewarding about your presence. And sometimes this is more meaningful than dramatic flirting, because real attraction doesn't always look dramatic. It can look like, "I thought you might be here. I wanted to ask you something. Are you going to that event? Let me know when you get there." Tiny sentences, tiny moments, but repeated over time, they can reveal where someone's attention naturally goes. And here's a powerful question to ask yourself. Does she only interact with you when circumstances force her to, or does she create opportunities when she has a choice? Choice is important. When someone voluntarily gives you their time, attention, and emotional energy, that can tell you much more than a random smile ever could. Sign number 7. She starts letting you see a more personal side of her. And now we reach the deepest sign. Not attention, not flirting, not body language. Vulnerability. When a woman genuinely values a connection, she may gradually allow you to see parts of herself that she doesn't show everyone. She may tell you about something that worries her. She may share a personal story. She may talk about her goals, her insecurities, her dreams, her past experiences, the things she wants from life, the things she normally keeps private. This doesn't mean she will suddenly reveal everything. Healthy emotional intimacy develops gradually, but you may notice that conversations become deeper. Instead of only talking about what happened today, you start talking about what matters. Instead of surface-level jokes, there are real opinions. Instead of casual conversation, there is emotional trust. And this is where attraction and emotional connection can intersect. Because when someone trusts you with something personal, they're not necessarily saying, "I want a relationship," but they may be saying, "I feel safe enough to let you see more of me." And that can be far more meaningful than any flirting technique. Because physical attraction can create curiosity, but emotional safety creates closeness. And closeness is what allows a relationship to develop. The biggest mistake men make when they notice these signs. Now, before you start analyzing every woman you know, there's something extremely important you need to understand. The biggest mistake is treating every behavior as proof of attraction. She smiles at you? She wants me. She replies quickly? She's obsessed. She remembers your birthday? She definitely wants a relationship. No. That is not how human behavior works. People are complicated. A smile can mean friendliness. Eye contact can mean confidence. A message can simply mean communication. Remembering details can mean someone has a good memory. And even flirting can sometimes be playful rather than romantic. The real clue is the pattern. Look for repeated behavior. Look for consistency. Look for reciprocity. Look at how she behaves specifically around you compared with other people. And most importantly, communicate. If the connection is genuine, you shouldn't need to turn yourself into a detective forever. Eventually, healthy attraction creates opportunities for honest communication. What should you do if you notice these signs? If you genuinely believe a woman may be interested in you, don't suddenly become intense. Don't overwhelm her. Don't play manipulation games. Don't deliberately ignore her to make her chase you. And don't assume you are entitled to anything simply because you think she likes you. Instead, stay calm. Be respectful. Match her energy naturally. Have real conversations. Show genuine interest. Give her room to choose. And if the connection continues to grow, be clear about your own intentions. Confidence isn't about forcing an outcome. Confidence is being comfortable enough to communicate honestly while respecting the other person's answer. That is what separates genuine attraction from manipulation. So let's quickly recap the 7 signs. Number 1, she finds reasons to keep the connection going. Number 2, she remembers details you didn't expect her to remember. Number 3, her body language becomes more open and engaged around you. Number 4, she becomes more playful and may tease or challenge you. Number 5, she becomes curious about your personal and romantic life. Number 6, she creates opportunities to spend time around you. And number 7, she gradually allows you to see a more personal and vulnerable side of her. But remember, the most powerful sign isn't one specific gesture. It's a pattern of attention, consistency, emotional investment, and mutual effort. When someone truly values you, you don't have to force every interaction. You don't have to manipulate them. You don't have to play endless psychological games. The connection begins to feel natural, and that's the real lesson. Don't just look for signs that someone wants you. Look for signs that the connection is mutual, respectful, consistent, and emotionally healthy. Because being desired feels good, but being genuinely understood is something much deeper. If this video gave you a new perspective on female psychology and attraction, make sure you like this video and subscribe to The Feminine Code. And I'm curious, which of these 7 signs do you think is the hardest to fake? Tell me your answer in the comments. And if you want to understand more about the hidden psychology behind attraction, emotional connection, and female behavior, stay connected with The Feminine Code. Because sometimes the smallest behaviors reveal the biggest emotions. I'll see you in the next video.